It is safe to say that Alpine's return to fighting for overall victory at Le Mans did not end well. Despite their hypercar entries looking competitive, Alpine's entire race was ground to a halt with just a few hours completed, and this resulted in both their entries not making the checkered flag. So in this video, I'll be breaking down the details of Alpine's heartbreaking end to this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans. Before the event began, the French manufacturer planned to bring two of their newly introduced A424 hypercars to Le Mans, as they prepared for their first appearance in the top category since 2022, when they raced a grandfathered LMP1 car called the A480. Up until Le Mans, Alpine have been having a not so bad season in the WEC, especially considering that their car was brand new to this endurance racing spectacle. The A424 achieved a best result of 7th place, which was claimed at the Qatar 1812 kilometer, the first round of the season. But despite this, Alpine had yet to achieve a top 5 result, or battle at least with the top manufacturers in hypercar. In qualifying for Le Mans, Alpine got the number 35 car into Hyperpole, and the number 36 car missed out by just 1 place, claiming P9. In Hyperpole, the number 35 Alpine qualified 5th on the grid, with formulajonah behind the wheel, becoming the best placed car at Le Mans out of any of the new manufacturers in hypercar. For the first few hours of the event, Alpine showed that the A424 was a competitive race car. Not only were the French hypercars performing better than the other new entries in the category from BMW, Lamborghini, and Isotta Fraschini, but Alpine was also beating their French rivals Peugeot, as the 9X8 hypercar wasn't having a competitive Le Mans this year. The fact was, for the first 4 or so hours of this event, the A424s were performing pretty good, until of course they weren't. At the 24 Hours of Le Mans, as well as other endurance races, having a competitive car is definitely valuable, but that alone won't allow you to succeed. A car, alongside being competitive, must be reliable to withstand across the entire 24-hour length of this endurance race. And in the case of Alpine for this race, having a car that's both reliable and competitive was unfortunately something they didn't have. With just over 4 hours completed so far, the downfall for Alpine started when Austrian racer Ferdinand Habsburg was at the wheel of the number 35 Alpine heading out of Indianapolis corner, and unfortunately, he was forced to stop the car at Arnage when the car had smoke coming out the back and even fire appeared. What had happened is that the car had suffered an engine failure, and it was pretty much game over for the number 35 Alpine's challenge at the Circuit de la Sarthe. This was of course bad news for Charles Malesi, formulajonah, and Ferdinand Habsburg, as well as the entire Alpine endurance team, especially considering that the number 35 Alpine was the best performing A424 during Le Mans so far. Now, when difficult scenarios come up like this, the best case scenario is to focus on the one remaining car. In this case, that was the number 36 Alpine. However, things unfortunately got worse when the French manufacturer's sole remaining hypercar was forced into the pit lane with Nicolas Lapierre behind the wheel. Believe it or not, just like the other car, the number 36 Alpine also encountered engine issues and was forced to retire. This effectively meant that in a matter of just 1 hour, Alpine's challenge during the 2024 Le Mans was over. Now, I also want to point out the fact that Alpine's A424 engine is the Mechachrome V6, which is known to be quite unreliable. This factor is mainly apparent over in Formula 2. Coming into the season, some had their doubts about the Mechachrome engine, and I for one had a fear that Alpine may suffer some reliability issues, and unfortunately, it seems those fears were proven correct at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. However, during this event, it's not like Alpine was the only manufacturer having issues in the hypercar field. And while they aren't the same issues, BMW was definitely having a difficult time out there with their two M hybrid V8s run by Team WRT. The number 83 Customer AF Corsa Ferrari, as well as the number 3 Chip Ganassi Cadillac, also retired due to mechanical issues. And as I mentioned previously, Le Mans was always going to be a learning race for Alpine as well as the other 3 manufacturers in hypercar this year. I have no doubt that Alpine will learn from this Le Mans race and come back even stronger next year, and I'm sure that their focus is now on the WEC's return to Brazil for the 6 hours of Sao Paulo. But regardless, having both cars not finish beyond the 5th hour of the 24 hours of Le Mans was still a very disappointing result for Alpine. But what did you think about the retirements of the A424s during this latest event at Le Mans? Let me know all your thoughts on it down in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, I suggest subscribing. The reason why is because I make endurance racing content mainly on WEC and IMSA every week. And if you want to watch more videos, there's options on your screen. But for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one.